All right. I already see y'all. We already got some people watching on Facebook and YouTube. Welcome to Ty's Take Today Live. You guys already know we do this each and every Thursday and Sunday at 6 p.m. Eastern. Currently live streaming on both Facebook and YouTube. So if you guys want to chime in, if you have some questions for our guests tonight, be sure to do so in the comments, and we'll be sure to, of course, share those comments during tonight's episode. Coming up on tonight's show, we got two guests for you, and then I think my homegirl Doris is going to be checking in so we can continue the conversation about Love and Marriage Detroit. First up, we are going to be talking to Chelsea, who is a marketing maven, media personality. She is doing it all, and I'm super excited to have her back on the show. We're gonna be talking about her experience on Love and Marriage Detroit. It's been getting crazy, so if y'all haven't been watching, be sure to watch it on OWN every Saturday at 8 p.m. And then we're gonna be also talking to music artist Savionne Payton about his journey as an independent music artist, and also going to be talking about, which is super exciting, he is actually one of the contestants for Hitsville Next 2025 Amplify, the Sound of Detroit. So they're going to be having that event coming up early this month. So I'm super excited to talk about his musical journey and what sets him apart from some of the other contestants on the show. And of course, I've been doing this ever since the end of February. So I want to open up the show, as always. Shout outs to my mom, who is currently in the hospital. She's been in the hospital since February 28th. But she's making progress. She's remaining strong and positive. And it's so weird because she's always in the comments, always sharing. Her whole Facebook and social media is just Ty's Take Today. So I want to shout outs to my mom, and shout outs to everybody that's been checking in with me and my family. And I'm just super excited. When I saw her the last weekend, she is super excited to sit down for hours and watch all the episodes that she's missed. So can't wait for that. And I'm really just super excited. Like I said, if you guys haven't been following us on social media, now is a great time to do so. You guys can follow us on Instagram at It's Ty's Take Today. You guys can follow us on Facebook. Be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube. You can get caught up with previous interviews, previous episodes, and you guys can even see who's coming up on later editions of the show. Also, if you're old school and you just want some content to read, TysTakeToday.com is always where it's at. And like I said, if you guys are watching on Facebook and YouTube, be sure to comment. Got some questions for our guests. Let us know where you're watching from, or just show us some love in the comments. That being said, I'm going to start off tonight's episode by adding our first guest to the virtual platform. What's up, Chelsea?
Hey, what's going on?
What's going on? So good to see you. I'm so glad to have you back on the show. This is like our second round of getting to know you. So I really just want to dive straight in. Love and Marriage Detroit. Back on, and you guys gave us a little bit. Well, Carlos King gave us a little bit of a break. Not you guys. I'm not gonna put that
Carlos
blame.
either.
Not on. We gonna say the top of the top.
Own gotta own that.
Owen's gonna own up to that. So we had a little break. But currently season 2 is airing, part 2, right?
Yeah.
So I want to know, since that little break in that gap, how has being on the show or being featured on the show impacted your self-awareness in relationships, both on and off camera?
Because there was such a break in between like the first half and this second half, I actually did get a chance to when we see ourselves on TV and see the way that we're moving, regardless of whether it's just for entertainment or whatever, like some things you're gonna look at and be like, ugh, I didn't like that I did that. Not me though, I have no regrets. No, I'm joking. I did take the opportunity to cultivate some relationships though. So I did get a chance to actually reach out to LaToya, and we've had a conversation or two. We've seen each other out and about, and Anthony as well. And LaToya and I actually got to do an event, one of the same events that I kind of like brought to her that she took part in with her wine brand, Opulence. So that's one of the things. And then like me and Christina, we're always going to be solid no matter what's going on. So, and then I don't know how well people know that like I'm cool with Bravo. Bravo's a good guy. Lakita, love Lakita. So like on and off the camera, like in those moments, it feels like super intense. But when I look back, there's not anything like that. It's such a thorn in my side to where I'm like, oh my God, I can't believe I did that. I can't believe I said that. Like, I believe I show up pretty authentically on camera, whether it translates that way or not. And I think that in unscripted series, it's always going to be a divide. People are either going to love you or they're like, oh, I can't stand her. And that's okay. If you can't stand me, there's always a seat for you to have.
Absolutely. And I'm actually going to go ahead and join Doris in the conversation as well,
Okay.
because Doris, for those of you that may have not watched our first interview with Chelsea, we both were talking to Chelsea early on during the show. So Doris, hello, welcome back to the show.
Hello. Sorry I'm late, y'all.
Hey, you are all good. We're out here grinding, so that's all that matters. Yeah, and Chelsea, to piggyback on what you were saying earlier, we've even seen you interact with like Anthony and Latoya on Instagram and social media as well. So I think, even though we do see some heated moments on the show, regardless, you guys still are interacting with each other, and everybody can be civil. We're all adults at the end of the day.
For sure.
Yeah,
Nothing is personal. Nothing
he
is
said
personal.
you were the homie.
Who said I was the homie?
I think he said you were a fan.
I could never be a fan. That's crazy.
So I also want to know, how does it just feel overall, like being featured on the platform, and what do you hope viewers take away just from watching the show overall?
So one thing is like, so first of all, I'm super grateful for the opportunity. Shout out to Carlos King. Like, definitely the name suits him, King, for sure. But one thing I hope that people can take away, especially from me, like, if you know what Detroit is, Detroit does have an edge to it. And so some people might think like, oh, she's like so assertive, she's overly aggressive, but like that's Detroit grit. I'm a real Detroit girl. I'm a D girl. I'm an East Side girl. And I don't let anything get past me. I don't let anything slide. And I'm going to direct stuff. One thing that I hope people can like really see through is like, obviously there's editing, but I hope people can like look past the editing and see the context of things, because the energy that I've ever given anybody is returned energy. It's not me coming off the bat being crazy. If I'm saying something, it's a response to something. It's because you brought my name up, and specifically when I was not around. So I don't know how many or too many people who like to be talked about when they're not even present to defend themselves. And so then when I combat it or give a response or have a reaction to it, you don't get to determine how I respond to what you're saying about me, especially if you calling me out my name and you don't really know me like that. That's like, come on, guys, like we got to be logical here. So.
Yeah,
absolutely.
You can tell it's usually a response. I'm sorry.
No, you're good, Doris. Go ahead.
I was just saying, you can tell it's usually a response or reaction to someone else coming for you. So,
absolutely. And speaking of responses and just confrontation and conversations in general, I have to ask both of you, because you already know we're going to roll the clip for those that haven't seen it. But let's go ahead, and I'm going to ask about the podcast conversation when Christina was on Anthony's podcast. But first, we're going to go ahead and roll the clip.
Okay.
And then we'll be back.
You sitting with me?
Well, I guess I'll sit. You gotta sit closer to the mic, right? I'm sitting right here on the couch with my wife, because if you try to pull anything slick, I'm gonna be right here.
Oh, Brandon, what do you think is about to happen at this podcast? You are ready for war.
Do you realize who you are doing this podcast with? This is Anthony, Mr. You never know what you're gonna get.
Yeah, I need her next to the mic because she's gonna do all the talking.
Move that in front of her.
Okay.
Brandon, I thought we had an agreement to keep the ops out the building.
No one ever called you out your name, ever.
We can table it and keep it pushing. So, I mean, this is like highly disrespectful, but you know what? It's not gonna stop the show. So, Christina.
Yeah.
You are a woman that is proud about her age, being
Absolutely.
40 years old. Like,
I'm 42.
well, I'm just saying, you look young. And like right now, you're relaunching your music career. You're doing this at 42 with 2 children and a husband. That's almost like a third child. So
Anthony is gonna take his shots and his opportunities to be shady no matter what. It's what I expect, but it's all good.
I really went into this situation believing that everybody in the room would be on their best behavior. And I thought Anthony would keep it professional.
What genre are you gonna pick? Like, because I think you should mess with gospel because you got such a big gospel influence.
Well, I haven't publicized exactly how far I'm going right now.
And you're not right now either.
And I'm not right now.
Okay. So that's the end of that part. Thanks.
The Smith's friend is unprofessional. And I'm not about to sit here and let you bait me and going back and forth with you. I actually have something to lose. I got business to handle.
Yeah, but next time you interview Christina, you gotta reach out to Chelsea.
Chelsea over here, she's my brand manager. She keeps everything in line.
Okay. I'm glad I already got my interview done.
Well, there'll be more, because she's on the rise, you know.
So what else is up, y'all?
Oh, man. Chilling, man. Developing these artists.
The biggest star that you've ever worked with, let's be real, is Christina Bowman-Smith.
I mean, I feel like you're trying to diminish the things that I've done. Yes, my baby is dope, and I know you are a fan of her, but you should be more of a fan of LaToya.
Go ahead. That's why I dropped $250K on my baby. I put money up. I am a fan of her.
You need to invest in some more sturdy corks and then wine, because I heard the corks be crumbling.
Oh, don't even front. You know that wine go hard.
You tired? Bored. Why are you so bored, babe?
I think I'm just cold. That's all.
Okay.
Yeah, you got heat in here?
Yeah, it's probably heat in the car too.
Ooh, are you kidding me?
I didn't invite everybody. I invited you.
So when you invite a talent, you gotta, you know, the team that comes
This
with
is
it.
my team. We're gonna be respectful
Well,
here.
Brandon, I've been respectful. You gotta give me credit. I've been respectful.
Let's keep it.
But Brandon, what do we talk about? Because Lyrique works here too. And I didn't have him come in today out of respect to you.
You intentionally kept Lyrique away from what? Lyrique is a producer. Was he gonna be making beats in the background? Like, why would he need to be here in the first place?
Whether he brought Lyrique around or not, I still don't feel like it gives him, you know, a right to be disrespectful towards Chelsea.
All right. So
That whole
was-
clip is hilarious.
It was. I got tears over here.
Oh.
Chelsea, watching it back now, what are your thoughts just overall on that?
So it's funny because again, some of that is like true to the moment, and some of it is the way that it's edited. So when I said, and we're not going to discuss that, that wasn't toward Anthony. That was toward Christina and Brandon. We rode there together and we had a conversation about what we are and what we are not discussing. Because as an artist, even just like as an influencer, and I don't want this to get, there needs to be a clear line of delineation. I am not her brand manager when it comes to music. It's her as an influencer. And so we didn't have, like, you know how you get like a run of show, you get some prequel questions for where you're going to appear on somebody's podcast. We didn't have that. So I didn't know what all was going to be covered. So I'm like, when I asked her, like, you know, what's the top line? She said, oh, I think he's going to ask me about like my lifestyle influencing, probably music. And he did cover all the bases, which is why I decided to go. And I told her, like, we're not discussing the things that are in the works. Like, we could talk about the things that you have done, and we could talk about the things that are like 1 month out. But the question that was being asked, she was about to tell it all. And I'm like, we're not doing that. We're not doing that. So I was more so frustrated with Christina because I'm like, girl, we just had this conversation in the car. But I also realized that my tone, because I was already agitated, because Anthony had already said a couple things. Y'all know how Anthony do. He gonna play a little bit too much.
Yeah.
He gonna take his little jabs and his little shots, which is good. It's entertaining.
Right.
You know, like if Anthony wasn't there and if I wasn't there, I don't know like how much entertainment there would be. There would be storyline and there would be some friction, but I don't know as far as like entertaining, because Brandon wouldn't have anybody to play off of. Bravo wouldn't have anybody to play off. I wouldn't have anybody to play off of, and vice versa.
Yeah.
So it's needed. But at the end of the day, I realized like the tone for sure, and I wasn't being facetious. It was cold as hell in that building. I'm like, and you when you get cold, you get a little sleepy. But I was also being a butthole because I'm like, I'm not gonna let you keep playing this little game, this cat and mouse game, and then trying to hide your hand like you're not baiting me. But It's all love.
Yeah.
I know Anthony Ford's works.
Yeah.
So I'm like, okay.
So that being said, as long as it's coming to Christina's content and influencing, Chelsea will be present again.
Yes. Yes.
Most definitely. So I want to get to the chats actually, and if y'all are watching, y'all can chime in and comment on Facebook and YouTube as well. But we've got some people showing Doris Love in the building, Doretha and Courtney, and then C Jones says you should speak up. He also said that you was minding your business. And then Jessica Lauren, the curly creative girl, said, LOL, the yawn was perfect.
I was cracking
I
up.
do want to clarify that the conversation that was taking place was when the podcast wrapped. I did not do that during them filming the podcast. What I did during the podcast was tell her that we're not discussing that matter. But the yawn was when they start getting into the little Brandon Anthony dance that they do. Because I'm like, come on now, y'all. It's cold in here. It's minus 10 degrees in here. Let's wrap this up.
And then I know I'm going to go ahead and let Doris, I want to segue kind of into, who you are beyond the show, beyond Love and Marriage. I feel like we get to see a little preview of that. But I'm going to let Doris lead in with our next questions.
Okay. For those who only know you from the show, what would you say they don't get to see about Chelsea?
I don't believe people get to see like the fullness of my personality. Like, when I have conversations with you guys, like you can see it. Like I actually am very playful, very goofy, whatever the case may be. You see it a little bit when I have my one-on-ones with Christina. I don't get the opportunity to really show that from a group standpoint. But even outside of that, like I do so much. Like I'm really in this trueness like a socialite. I love to be on the scene. I host events. When we say marketing maven, I'm actually a partner in a startup marketing agency called Verse and Hook. Shout out to Justin Norman. Shout out to Tierra, Miso, the whole crew. Bass. What else? I am a commercially trained dancer, so I used to dance backup for plenty of artists, one in which Bravo used to actually be the manager. So I've known Bravo since I was like maybe 16 or 17. He used to manage an artist that I danced for. I sharpened my dance abilities at Star Factory, which is owned by Brandon. So like there's a lot of connectivity and connective tissue within this group. So yeah, like people don't get to see all that. They got to see a little bit of the dance because in some prior episodes, Christina came and did some breath work with me and, sharpened up her abilities. We still working on that. God bless you, Sister Christina. But yeah, I don't think people get to see like the fullness of my personality. But since I'm on some better playing field with LaToya and even Anthony. So hopefully like in the future, people get to see those dynamics and not, because even when I ran into Anthony like last summer, we realized that, not only did we go to the same university, shout out Michigan State, go green, but we also graduated from the same college within the university, Eli Broad College of Business. And he like, oh, I didn't know that. And I'm like, yeah, because we never had a real conversation. But it's all good. It's all love. But yeah, I just think that if people got a chance to really get to know me, it'll skew a different way. But again, I'm not pressed by people having their opinions. It is what it is.
It's
Everybody
reviews and then, like he said, fans. But I was gonna say, when you talked about the group and how you show up on screen in the group, do you think that you will ever get along with some of the people that you clash with in the group and have some scenes where it's not a do you see yourself having that happening, or do you know, can you share if that happens?
I think that I can always be like cordial and even friendly with everybody in the group.
Yeah.
Like I also know Kim. I've known Kim for years as well, which is why I was a little annoyed that she spoke up at that table the way she did. I'm like, no, baby girl, you know me. What's going on? What's tea? But maybe she just needed to be in the conversation at the moment. Who knows what was going on? But yeah, like even Kobe and I had a conversation off camera immediately after like the season finale, what you see happen in the season finale, it was actually so intense that I felt the need to have a conversation with her off camera right then and there. One, because she was pregnant, and I'm like, the way that just went, I don't want to, like, I don't want to cause any extra stress, pressure, intensity, whether she felt like it or not. I don't like to feel like that. So I'm like, let me have a conversation, because that was like a lot. And I didn't really understand where all the energy was coming from. Because if we really give context to the fullness of the situation and go all the way back to the first episode that I appeared on, that energy came to me first from Anthony, somebody who I did not know, had never met in my life before. So, to be talked to in that manner by a stranger, you're gonna be holding on to that thing for a minute, because it's like, what's going on?
Yeah.
And there was no like like remorse from him or his wife. Latoya and I had never had a conversation beyond that. And so you take that first interaction and you kind of like, that sets the level. Like, that's the level set, that sets the precedent. You like, okay, what are we doing here? So I think that I can be friendly with Kobe for sure. I think if we actually had more conversation, it could be cool. I saw her last year sometime. Every time I see her, I speak. It's no like it ain't no beef with anybody or anything like that. Like,
Yeah.
Everything could always be good.
Absolutely. And then for you, having, what does your creative vision look like when it comes to being an entrepreneur and multifaceted woman in media, beauty, and fashion? Because if y'all don't know, Chelsea does all the things.
I know. And it's so funny because it's such a it's hard to be so present on social media. Like, I post a lot, but in real life, I don't like people to be in my business. So it's very hard to post content sometimes, because I'll be like, you don't need to know all of that. But as far as vision goes, I am working on a couple of things, fashion industry wise, that I am planning to launch fall of this year. And I'm not a person to share before it happens. So just stay tuned for that. But even as far as like media and marketing, being a partner of this startup, like, this startup agency has been such a blessing to my life. Like, I went through one of the most transformative years of my life last year. And I don't think too many people could even tell, but I felt like I started a new life last year. And so I'm looking forward to all the business and clientele that we're securing and that we're going to secure. When it comes, I'm actually getting back to dancing now, like commercially dancing right now with these 34-year-old knees. God bless me. Oh, wait, and I'll shout myself out because my birthday was last Friday. Happy birthday to me.
Yes, I was literally just going to say happy belated birthday. And
Thank you.
I saw y'all and Christina jumping on live for a minute. Y'all were like,
Yes.
we didn't even watch tonight's episode. We're out celebrating. I think you were on the beach not too long ago.
Yes.
I need to learn and take notes how to be like Chelsea.
Oh,
That's
baby, I'm
what I need.
down every time. Like, look, I'm off the grid. Leave me alone.
And I'm just now keeping your headline on below your name at the most mentioned.
The most mentioned. If we deleted all the scenes where I'm brought up or where my name is mentioned, what are we gonna be watching? Let me know. Take a shot when you hear my name.
Ooh, I'm gonna play that game this weekend's episode. The next episode that drops, I'm gonna play that.
Yes,
I'm gonna play that game.
You're gonna be toe up now. You're gonna be toe up.
Now going on live afterwards, I don't know, but we'll see what happens.
No, seriously. But yeah, it's a lot of things in the works that I'm super excited about. Like I said, my partners at Verse and Hook, love them. Like, I feel like I have joined a family as far as getting back into commercial dancing. And I do a lot of like coaching as well when it comes to dance. I do like femininity and sensuality dance classes for ladies. And I told you about that last time. But yeah, it's a lot going on. You look, I do post, even though it pains me sometimes, but I post. So you guys will see it if you're following. If you're not, go ahead and click follow on Instagram, Chelsea V.
Absolutely. So we're going to actually, like I said, we have a clip of this coming weekend's episode that we're going to share. But before we get out of here, I'm going to let Doris jump back in, and we have some questions, a couple more questions, and then we're going to play a rapid fire.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so you've often spoke about your faith. How does your spirituality guide your decision making in business, relationships, and media?
That's a great question. Well, first I'll start with like my moral compass. Like, regardless of like anything that's going on, I want to not just be, it's easy to match energy. I'm on a journey right now where I'm trying to maintain my vibration, my height, regardless of what's going on around me. That could be challenging at times. But when you are connected to the source, and the source being God, Jesus Christ, for me, you face a certain level of conviction. And so I want to always honor that conviction. And that comes with clients. There are certain clients I won't take on. There are certain friendships I won't take on. And then there's reflection that happens on my own behavior where I'm like, we're not doing that no more. So the guiding light when it comes to that is I'm going to always honor my conviction that is given to me by the Holy Spirit. I always.
Yes, I love that.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Great answer. All right. Y'all ready for this clip? I don't know if I'm ready, but let's go ahead and share this clip. This is full disclaimer that previous video also was courtesy of OWN TV. So full disclaimer, we do not own the videos that are being shared, but we're gonna go ahead and share this next scene for the upcoming episode.
You said boring, and you're the brand manager of this, and you're representing her. Was ghetto to me. I think that was ghetto on how you were reacting. So that was, for me, what's wrong. We hashed it out.
Let me address that.
So we have moved on.
Yeah.
And
let me address this, though.
That's what it is.
I will say that it was not ghetto, but I will say it was unprofessional. So I can acknowledge that. And I will give Anthony full props. He was a great interviewer. However, if somebody is taking shots at you, are you supposed to just sit there?
No, but you were taking shots too.
I don't believe you weren't there. As you said, you weren't there.
I weren't there, but this is
so
what I'm
told.
told.
You only have one side of the story. I never came here to agitate a situation or aggravate a situation.
But to see, that don't fly with me because of the history. You shouldn't have been there. She has done thousands of interviews on social media.
Yeah, but I just got on her team. So
she don't need you to be there.
Yes, she did not need to be there.
You said.
All right. So that scene alone has me just questioning a lot of things, but I don't even know where to begin with that.
I'm not gonna give too much away. We're gonna just digest what we saw. Like, if you know me, the faces that you see when I'm looking away, that's me trying to control myself. That if you ever see me do that, that's like I'm controlling myself. Lord. So what you got for me, Ty?
I mean, honestly, coming from somebody that works in the industry, to me, it's like we said earlier, if it's a conversation pertaining to Christina's brand, that is, she's one of your clients. Not only is she your homegirl, she's your best friend, but she is one of your clients at the end of the day. So if it's pertaining to content or influencing, Chelsea needs to be present. That's a conversation. Like you said, I mean, we don't send our questions out in advance unless our guests request them, because I prefer for our platform to have genuine and authentic conversations. But at least at a minimum, like, our guests know that, we're going to be talking about this project coming up. We're going to be kind of introducing you to our audience. So I think that right there, like, there should have been a little bit of information, even if it wasn't the questions, but I feel like you needed to be present. But I also, like you said, if it wasn't for you and Anthony's personality, like, you guys all play off of each other so well, which makes great entertainment.
Yeah.
Doris, now I have to know, I want to know your thoughts overall. Somebody in the comments, C Jones 79 said, right, not ghetto. So I think that's going to be the main, like, with this scene, people aren't going to like the
Yeah, you can't, as a Black woman, it's honestly and truly, and again, all love for LaToya, but you cannot weaponize the word ghetto. It's reckless. as a Black woman.
Yeah, it is.
Because I know that you have an extensive vocabulary, right, doctor? And so there are plenty other words to describe what you view that experience was for your husband. And at the end of the day, Anthony was not super buttoned up. He wasn't being the most professional. So it's like ghetto, I guess, but not really. Unprofessional, sure. Poor judgment, maybe. Poor taste, possibly. But ghetto, absolutely not. Like, there were other words to use in that moment. And I think that a lot of times, especially when it comes to this group, they like to throw words out there to paint a certain picture and try to switch the narrative and see what sticks. Because if you can change the viewer's mind about somebody, like, oh, yeah, that was ghetto, then that's going to be my new title. Oh, she ghetto. But please, like, there were other words to use. And I don't think that's going to sit too well with too many people. But it's a toss up when you are in the moment. I understand being in the heat of something and you're trying to voice your opinion. And sometimes the words just don't come to you that quickly. So maybe it was an instance or a case of that, but nah.
Right. I feel like you probably was sitting there.
Oh yeah, definitely still growing. You gotta think, like, if you have a couple interactions with someone and each time that you've had an interaction you feel defeated, you waiting for your opportunity. So it's like, this is your moment. I'm like, okay, Latoya clocked in today. Glad you showed up, sis. Okay. All right. Like, okay. But I especially don't like the narrative with anybody saying like, oh, because the streets be talk. What street? Sesame Street? Like, leave the child's play on the playground. Like, what are we talking about? Like, come on now.
Yeah.
But I don't even remember the cadence and like the timeline of everything that happened. So I'm gonna be watching with y'all trying to figure out what happened again, because I don't remember. Like, I remember the intensity of it, but I don't remember like the line of events. So it's gonna be interesting.
And then I don't know if I could say this, but that's been time ago, right? Like,
yeah, and that's the thing too, which is why I wanted to, specify the fact that I've had conversations and seen Latoya, seen Anthony. I've run into Kobe a couple of times. I always see Bravo because, nightlife. And so, like, that was, I want to say that was we filmed that maybe end of 2023 going into 2024. So that was a while ago. I
figured because Twitter's been dragging.
Yeah.
For dragging not the show, but production.
Twitter don't play.
Yeah.
I everything but a child of God on Twitter. I'm like, golly, do I owe some of y'all money or something? Like, what's going on?
Twitter be lit, but that can change. They just like to chat.
They just like to talk, yeah. They just like to tweet like a bird.
Yeah.
For sure. And now Doris, I feel like, has a question that might stir the pot a little bit, but go ahead, Doris. Let's do it.
So my question is, these are the rapid fire questions. Okay. Who is your favorite cast member on the show?
My favorite?
Yes.
It's a tie. It's a tie between Brandon and Anthony because they are petty. They are so petty. But they're a different type of petty. The only difference between Brandon and Anthony for me is like I can guarantee that Anthony is gonna be petty. I might not know exactly how, but I can pretty much see it coming. Brandon says certain things that I'm like, what? Like, why did you say that? Like, excuse me? But yeah, it's a tie because I like to be entertained and I like to laugh. That's why when you just wrote that clip, I was in tears because I'm like, just pettiness all around.
Yeah, it's hilarious, but it's making for good TV because it is definitely funny. Yeah. Even with Brandon taking his little shots and stuff now.
Yeah. Brandon fed up.
Oh, Yeah, no, it was funny watching that. I was like, I can't stop laughing. When it comes to fashion, designer splurge or like a one of a kind vintage type of finds?
That's loaded. So, can I cheat the question a little bit? Like I do love designer, but one of my favorite designer is Dolce & Gabbana, and Dolce & Gabbana is kind of known for their retro / vintage look. Like most of, because I love a unique piece, and that's why I go and buy things from Dolce & Gabbana, because their things don't look like everybody else's. It's not like the standardized, oh, this is all the logo monogrammed all over the place. Like, no. Dolce & Gabbana has some very, because I love the 70s. So, but if I had to choose, I'm going to choose designer, because I ain't the one buying it, no way.
Were your parents born in the 70s?
No, my parents were born in the 60s.
Okay.
Yeah. But that means they grew up in the 70s, so.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. Okay. Let's see. Most hilarious behind the scenes blooper or favorite impactful cast conversation?
Behind the scenes. Honestly, I'll say a blooper. When we did Christina's birthday party, we set that up in like a week, and it was supposed to be a surprise, but her cousin slipped up and said something, and I'm like, please don't let this register to this woman. And we got there, we had all this glassware that we had set up for, I think it was about like maybe 50 people, whatever the case was. And we like, good, we finished in time. It was me and 3 other friends. Y'all saw Leah on camera. That's my best friend. Our friend Jasmine Swain, Kendall of the studio that we rented out. And everybody's like, great. So they're like, I'm about to go get something to eat. And I'm like, I'm about to finish getting ready. And then all you hear is all the glassware fell on the ground because the table caved in the middle. So we had to, so when people were like dragging, they're like, oh, Brandon got that little room with only 5 pieces of blah, blah, blah. I'm like, that's because all that glassware broke and we had to improvise in 1 hour.
Wow.
Yeah. Lord have mercy.
Next up, share your go-to prayer or devotional verse, or recommend your favorite faith or inspirational book if you're a book reader.
So, something I recite every day is Psalm 72, 7, verse 9. It is a prayer of protection, because you know it be some houses out here. But it is literally, Psalm 72 says, in my days may the righteous flourish and peace abound till the moon be no more. Thank you, Jesus. May I have dominion from sea to sea, from the rivers to the ends of the earth. Thank you, Jesus. May desert tribes bow down before me and my enemies lick the dust. Thank you, Jesus. There we go.
Okay.
I love
Amen.
it.
Exactly. Doretha said, come on, Jesus. Enjoying y'all channel. Great commentary. Sharina said, I agree, Chelsea. So I just want to say to both of y'all, thank you so much as always. I'm ready for this reunion. Chelsea, when I come back to the city, we definitely need to hit up District 78.
Yes, District 78, Chandelier, Boulevard. If Bloom is open, we'll hit up Bloom. Whatever is going on, we gonna
all of the above.
Let me know where you go so I can go with y'all.
Doris is coming too. Road trip. Let's do it. I'm serious, y'all. Chelsea, before we get out of here, go ahead and let everybody know where to follow you on social media. And then, of course, if you guys haven't been watching, Love and Marriage Detroit airs every Saturday, 8 p.m. Eastern on OWN TV. Come on, I'm trying to get on my Carlos King bag. So hopefully Carlos King will be the next one sitting on this show.
I know that's right. Well, if you're not already, please go follow me on Instagram. That's at Chelsea V. That's CHELSEAVEI. Again, Chelsea V. And I'm on Twitter too. I'm not on there as much, but I'll be trying, because there's a lot of commentary on there. So follow me on both, y'all.
All of the things. Wishing you all of the success.
Thank you. And listen, God bless your mother. I pray for a speedy recovery for her. I believe and receive that she's going to be great. So God bless her. God bless you. God bless you, Doris.
Awesome. I
Amen. Thank
appreciate
you.
that.
God bless
Yes.
you too.
Yes, much appreciated. All right, Chelsea, we'll talk to you soon.
See y'all.
Darice, thank you again for joining us. Hopefully you'll be back because we've got more Love and Marriage Detroit episodes to dissect. And yes, definitely here for the road trip to Detroit. We're going to hit all of Bravo's stops. Bravo already knows we're coming.
Yes,
We got a booth.
Okay.
So I will talk to you soon. I hope you enjoy the rest of your evening.
Thank you. You too.
All right. So that was Chelsea V and my guest contributor, Darice. So be sure to go ahead and check out Chelsea on Love and Marriage Detroit. Shout outs to everybody in the comments. Y'all are going in. I'm here for it. So without further ado, I'm going to add our next guest to the virtual chat and platform. All right. Let me just go ahead and swap this out really quick and welcome our next guest. What's going on, Savionne?
Hey, guys.
What is up? What is up? Thank you so much for joining us. I really want to just dive right in and share a little bit about yourself with our audience and, what really first sparked your passion for music. And then, how did your journey as an artist originate?
Of course. Well, that's a complicated question, or a complicated answer, rather. Honestly, if you ask anyone who knows me, they'll tell you I've been singing my entire life. Musical background, musical family. My grandmother's actually a 6-time Grammy nominee, so music was never really an option for me. It was just, in my blood. I believe it was around maybe 8 or 9. My mom used to make my brothers and I sing at different local churches, and that was always nerve-wracking, but it was the most enjoyable part of my childhood, honestly. I think I started singing professionally, like getting paid for it, when I was 18, singing with a local artist, Jared, a friend of ours. Since then, it's just trying to get my feet wet, man.
Absolutely. And, we're going to talk about Hitsville's next Amplify contest a little later on. But, growing up, who were some of your biggest influences? I know you mentioned, starting this musical journey at such a young age. So whether that's like artists, family, local voices, who were some of your inspirations, or who are currently some of your inspirations when it comes to music?
Of course. So I actually wasn't allowed to listen to secular music until I was like maybe 16, 17. So for me, a lot of the music I listened to was just like contemporary gospel. I mean, artists like Dietrich Haddon, Mary Mary, Vanessa Bell Armstrong, BBCC Winans, just anything that made me feel as if I didn't really need secular music because it was close enough.
Absolutely. And I want to talk now. What was your initial reaction when you first found out that you were selected as a contestant for Amplify, the Sound of Detroit? What was that moment like for you?
Oh, I was in complete and utter disbelief, I have to be honest. It was a very, very tough lineup this year. They did something a little bit different. Typically, they open up the doors and they say, if you think you can sing, come audition at the Motown Museum. This year, it was video submissions. Had to submit 3 different videos proving that I deserved a slot. So getting that call back was a bit surreal. It was definitely a bit surreal. It actually came at a time I just lost my job. So getting that call after losing my job, I was like, yeah, I got to win,
Absolutely. And then we're going to show some of the pictures. I know we have a group shot of the contestants. So that being said, what has been the process like? I know you guys been doing rehearsals. We've seen kind of pictures of you guys and videos on Hitsville Next social media and Facebook. What has the journey and process been like for those that may not be familiar with what that process is typically like?
I got you. So the process was, I believe it's 3 months of nothing but rehearsals, whether it's a performance rehearsal or a vocal rehearsal, an amazing team, lots of talented musical directors as well as choreographers. It was definitely a blessing to be around so many talented individuals. I've learned way more than I thought I ever would. So I'm definitely very grateful.
Absolutely. And speaking of the competition, is there anything in particular like that the competition has challenged or really pushed you when it comes to like creativity?
Yeah. I always say I have no rhythm whatsoever. When I was younger, I always joke and say they placed me on the second row of the choir because I couldn't clap and sing at the same time. So going through this process and learning how to sing and command the stage, I'm so grateful for it. I really am.
And still speaking on the competition, what's been the most rewarding part of just being able to participate in Amplify, and any behind the scenes or moments that definitely stick out to you during this process?
I would say just the pep talks. The pep talks have been amazing. Whether it's between myself and other contestants or the directors themselves, everyone is focused on making sure, regardless of what the outcome is, everyone is worthy. Everyone is deserving of being that number one slot. I think that was, part of what they said they wanted to go for this year. Everyone should be considered in that top 3. So it's going to be a tough competition.
Absolutely. And speaking of the competition, I know it's quickly approaching. So can you tell everyone about the event? If people are in Michigan, people in Detroit, Metro Detroit, want to come to the show, want to experience, can you talk a little bit about the event? And that's going to be happening on Sunday, May 4th at 4 at the Soundboard Motor City Casino Hotel, right? So what can people expect from the event?
Well, if I'm going to be honest, your guess is as good as mine. That's one of the most nerve-wracking aspects of this process. A lot of the information we didn't know until we knew. As far as the venue, I was expecting it to be at the Detroit Opera House, as it's been for the last couple of years. So seeing that they're constantly elevating and the crowds are just getting bigger, it was just like, wow. So I guess what I can say is stay tuned and I'll see you there.
Absolutely. And tickets are general admission tickets are $25 and can be purchased through Ticketmaster. So we'll be sure to share all of the ticket and info and the event details on our social media platforms. Definitely going to be promoting it. And special guest judge Dawn Richard. So I had to do my research because I'm not always on top of things like I should be. And I was like, Danity Kane's Dawn Richard, like making the bands. I had to I was like, let me make sure I'm right on who this person is before I am out here talking. But definitely going to be an amazing event. And like I said, we'll be sure to let everybody know where they can purchase tickets. But I really want to what if there's somebody out there that hasn't heard any of your music or heard you perform live, how would you describe your sound to someone who's never heard you perform before?
I get that question very, very often, and I never really can pinpoint it. I wouldn't say that my sound is extremely unique, but I would say that it's unique enough to know that there isn't anyone that sounds like me currently. So I am working on some music, and that should be here by the end of the year. So, stay tuned.
Absolutely. And, for you as an artist, we talk a lot about mental health on our platforms with almost all of our guests, regardless of what creative or what type of industry they're in. So for you as an artist and, just an overall creative, how do you stay grounded and motivated, just overall during your journey as a musical artist?
Prayer, lots and lots of prayer. Not only just praying, but making sure that I stay on the top of meditation, yoga, being in the gym. But outside of that, I think the biggest help is surrounding yourself with a village of people who truly want to see you win. When you're surrounded by genuine love, you feel like you're Superman. Nothing is impossible.
Absolutely. That reminds me, I'm a big book reader, and I read this book called I believe it's Build Your Village, and it talks about just building that support group and having those people in your life that ride with you and the genuine and authenticity of those individuals, because that is extremely important. So definitely agree. All right, Savionne, before we get out of here, we did it with Chelsea. We're going to do it with you as well. We're going to play a quick game of rapid fire.
Let's go.
All right. First up, old school Motown or new Detroit hip hop?
Old school Motown.
For sure. Favorite Motown artist?
Marvin Gaye.
Studio session all night, studio session all night or early morning writing session?
That's a tough one. I would say studio session all night. And the only reason why is because you tend to bring like all of your friends and you just have a great time.
Absolutely. All right. So perform at the Fox Theater as or headline a block party on the East Side.
Say it one more time.
So perform at the Fox Theater or headline like a block party on the East Side.
Headline block party on the East Side. 100%. Like no questions asked. Yeah.
For sure. Jay Dilla beats or Big Sean flow?
Dilla.
For sure. Coney dog after a show or vegan soul food at a pop-up event?
Well, I've been vegan for 2 years now, so pop-up, of course.
For sure. I'm like part vegan. We're trying to get there. It's been a journey, but I'm trying. Baby steps for sure. Would you rather drop singles monthly or build up to like a surprise album or like a surprise project?
Surprise, 100%. I think I learned that from Jasmine Sullivan. She took about a 2-3 year hiatus. And when she did, she dropped my favorite album to date, Reality Show. Honestly, a masterpiece, 100%. So sometimes you just have to take that time.
Sorry, I'm laughing at the comments. Doris said, great responses to your answers to these rapid fire questions. She said prayer and support are top tier life tools. And then she had to throw a jab at me when I talk about veganism and that she's praying for me, Ty. So we're gonna figure it out. But I appreciate the love. It's a gradual process, okay? Freestyle battle in Detroit or headline a Tiny Desk concert?
Tiny Desk. I'm a poet, but freestyling isn't my forte.
For sure. If you could collaborate with any music artist, dead or alive, who would it be and why? Or artist, producer, songwriter, anybody in the industry?
Honestly, I would have to say my grandmother. That's always been my dream. Like I said, she's a 6-time Grammy nominee, Vanessa Bell Armstrong. Growing up, watching her sing live, going with her from show to show, I just knew one day I have to be on the stage with her. I have to release a project with her. Once I do, not if, but once I do, I know I made it.
Definitely already speaking it into existence for sure. Lastly, Detroit winter grind or summer festival season hustle?
That's a tough one. We're gonna go summer hustle.
For sure. I feel like the weather is like, I already got the AC on, so I'm like, it's definitely summer. For sure. All right, Savionne, before we get out of here, any last words, any message you want listeners to take away once they hear your upcoming released projects, or if they're seeing you at the event on May 4th? What message what do you hope that people take away from your talent?
Just keep going. A lot of times when you want to chase your dreams, it gets hard, it gets discouraging, and sometimes it feels like, you may never make it. I know that I manifested this opportunity through prayer, through fasting, and believing and trusting that God had me. So if you ever start to doubt yourself, don't.
Absolutely dropping gems. I appreciate it. And then we're gonna go ahead and show the flyer again. Whoops, that's not the right graphic. That's why Tyler needs a producer. So once again, May 4th, Sunday, May 4th at 4 p.m. At the Soundboard Motor City Casino Hotel. General admission tickets are $25 on Ticketmaster. And then, of course, we'll be sure to go ahead and post all of the event details and ticket information in the description of this video and the captions and all over our social media. Thank you so much for joining us. And I look forward to hearing that track and all of your projects, and hopefully having you back on to talk about winning the contest.
We'll see.
Absolutely. And again, Savionne Payton, thank you again for joining us. Be sure to follow him on social media and connect with him. I appreciate you for joining us this evening.
Thank you for having me. Long time coming.
Absolutely. All right, y'all. That's going to do it for this edition of Ty's Take Today Live. Like I said, I just want to shout out to our guest. That was music artist Savionne Payton. Shout outs to the homegirl Chelsea V. She can be seen on Love and Marriage Detroit. That's premiering that's airing every Saturday at 8 p.m. Eastern on OWN TV. Carlos King, your boy from Metro Detroit, is still waiting. So let's connect. Let's get to work. I would love to work with you. I would love to have you on our platform here to talk about your journey and share your story. Come on, you graduated from Detroit schools, so come and appear on. This is my invite. I'm going to constantly be inviting him to join us on Ty's Take Today Live. Also, once again, closing us out, shout outs to my mom. Please keep the prayers coming. I appreciate all of the prayers. My family really does appreciate it. She's making a full recovery, and that's what matters. So just got to remain strong. I know Mother's Day is right around the corner, so your boy's feeling a little down, but I know that God is watching over her and everything is going to be okay. And that's what matters. So shout outs to my mom. Shout outs to everybody in the comments. Shout outs to Doris for stopping by. I just have so many comments. Everybody's commenting. Shout outs to Doretha. Shout outs to Courtney. Shout outs to C. Jones. Shout outs, and the list goes on in the chat. So I appreciate you guys in the comments. Ty, loving the production. Keep up the good work. Much love. Yes, you guys all that joined us tonight are a part of the Taker family. So be sure to subscribe to us on YouTube. And be sure to stay tuned. Also, before we get out of here, I'm going to let you guys know what's coming up on later editions of Ty's Take Today Live. So on Thursday, May 8th, we are talking to Brittany Alexis. She is the author of her book, which is called From Passion to Paycheck. So we're talking everything finances and financial literacy. And I'm excited to dive into that conversation with her because right now I'm at a point in my life where it's all about making sure that you are fully tracing your passion and what your purpose is here. And then we're also going to be talking to artist Nicholas Smith on Sunday, May 11th. And then also, I'm super excited. He's a youngin' in the game, and he is a youth author. His name is George Latham IV. If you guys been seeing him on TV, he's got his own published books. So I'm super excited to be talking to him as well. And then, of course, if you want to check out some past episodes on our channel, it's up on YouTube. But that's going to do it for me this evening. So y'all already know how I always close this out. Be sure to follow us on Instagram at It's Ty's Take Today, Facebook.com/@It's Ty's Take Today. And then, of course, be sure to hit that subscribe button on YouTube, youtube.com/It's Ty's Take Today. You can get caught up with all of our past episodes. Crazy that this is episode 32 of this season, and we're going to keep on doing the damn thing. So that being said, I hope you all have a great evening. Be sure to share this. Be sure to follow, subscribe, like, tweet, X, do all the things. We're on Blue Space. Is it called Blue Space? Whatever it's called, y'all. But I hope y'all have a great evening. Shout outs to my guests again. Shout outs to Doris. And we'll be back with more episodes on Thursday and Sundays every week, 6 p.m. Eastern, right here, YouTube and Facebook.